There we go. Welcome back. Should be hopefully fixed all the technical issues out of the way, done and dusted. Just brushing the cobwebs off. We are going to be back into the first match of the day, which is Durham versus York. We saw Durham take the first map, which was Route 66. We're going to be back in with Lijiang Tower, the first of two King of the Hill maps. I'm John Allen. Joining me again is Rook. How's it going? Again, I heard you go and get a drink of water. Is it a refreshing drink? Are you ready to raring to go?
You know, it's not quite as tasty as Northern Water with all of its tasty impurities.
I only drink
But
bottled water, so I wouldn't know.
what? Johnny straight.
I do put the water in the bottle first, but it's self-bottled.
Okay. I am unbelievably confused, John. But
I think that was the purpose of
Let's rock with that.
I've really thrown you off there, haven't I?
Yeah, no, I actually have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you what isn't going to throw anyone off is the fact that we're on Lijiang Tower on the first map, which is going to be Gardens, and it is going to be, again, these two teams battling it out. Of course, being a best of three, I think we do play all three maps on stream. I have to double check that, but
we do.
This is the chance. Yeah, we do, in fact, play all three maps.
Come on, John, have you not been here before?
Wait, who are you? We are going to play all three maps today, but it is the chance for Durham to take it home here and now if they're able to get those 2 control points under their belt.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, it is an obvious advantage currently for Durham because they're up 1-0. But, you know, if York can prove that they can play these control maps, it's going to look pretty fantastic because they've got one more control map coming up and they could take this entire series. So I'm excited to see whether they are able to do that.
So, of course, we did have a little bit of a substitution in that break. Nev Box, who was playing the Zarya last time around, is changing out for Zreek. Looks like they want to go for a little bit more of a dive comp instead of what they were going for before.
They are looking to eat a lot of spam here, though. Morin, doing a lot of damage, but Durf falling down early is pretty huge, losing that main tank.
Burakawada able to get the kill onto St. Fox, the backline, feeling the brunt of the Pharaoh rockets, finding the Mercy as well. The Res 3 went onto Alpha Male, but Mopin gets the better end of the skies. However, the damage has been done. I mean, plenty of work with that Pharaoh, and it's going to get rezzed up as well. The Hook, however, from Foolproof managed to get the D-Mech, but both tanks, again, left alone on the point. And they're going to be seen away. Over the side you go. Roadhog taking his own life rather than giving over the ult charge.
And that was an interesting difference in paradigms. So there are these different Pharaoh players, some who go for that aerial superiority first, and some who just, you know, go for strafing runs on the ground. And that was Mopin getting a lot of damage on the ground, but Burakawada winning out in the end. What an ultimate from Mopin, finding 2 picks.
Oh, a very nice rocket barrage. Does get taken down in response, but that is going to be a nice opening for them. St. Fox finds the back line, however. The Mercy goes down, and there's the rocket barrage cancel for Burakawada. St. Fox doing work with those storm arrows. There's the self-destruct sequence getting popped for York. Isn't going to find anyone. Zreek's going to be able to get back into the mech. The pulse bomb is going to find St. Fox. Mark Smear is going to be able to stay alive after going golden, and there's the Valkyrie just trying to keep the side of Durham alive as they contest this point, and Baron's back in. She's going to be doing the devilish work from the skies as Burakawada trying to contest, but it's not going to go well. 45% built up for the York side as the cap goes through.
Durham feeling pretty confident now. They have control, though, going relatively aggressive. Going to force them back. There's a couple of ultimates, though, on the York side, which will give them an advantage, especially with Primal Rage coming up. Support ultimates will deny a lot of that damage. They do move on in here.
Oh, here goes the Dragon Strike as well for St. Fox, trying to zone out the bridge, but everyone's already across. Alpha Male able to find Durf, so that's already mitigated a lot of their presence towards that back line, but it's Paddy D gets traded back as well. The rest through onto Durf is a little bit too little too late as the rest of the team just falls around their ears. Mercy pays the price for going for such a bold res.
And you know, Foolproof, playing, well, as his name says, some brilliant hooks and really good punishes. Completely destroyed the support line of York there by, first of all, hooking in at its Paddy D while just at the end of the Transcendence, and he gets bursted as soon as it drops. And then Wolfman tries to escape with some flying away. Sorry, not Wolfman, sorry. Supernova tries to escape, but gets a load of buckshot to the face and instantly drops.
Yeah, pretty difficult to operate with that much lead in your skull. Unfortunately, it's going to go the way of Durham for now. 60% being built up as the York team go for the contest. They are getting sent a little bit backwards as the Orisa just sets up towards the White Room. Zarya moving forwards, getting the charge, but there's the Rocket Barrage. But it's traded back for an equally powerful Rocket Barrage. They're going to double it up. Burkawada taking his own life on the wall. Not too sure about that one. Zoning out towards the White Room, but it's only going to find one on its Paddy D as the charge keeps moving forwards. The res through onto Ralph Mail, trying to stop that pressure as the Brigitte is trying to send them back. Durf gets shield bash back, but they're standing tall on the point. York moving forwards. The rally is popped, and it's going to allow Mopin a little bit more room to operate, but Wolfman trying to keep his Brigitte alive into the back. The cap is not gone through just yet, but it's equal trades yet again as Supernova falls down. A beautiful Earth Shatter yet again for Durf as he gets one kill with a charge, pins Reinhardt to the wall as the Roadhog is going to go down to its Paddy D, who's traded over onto the Soldier, trying to get more damage through as the Durham team trying to contest. They're at 99% now. You can give up the Ghost. You're not getting any more than that, because it's going to be 48% building up now for York.
And Durf just went absolutely ham there. Mopin now looking for an opportunity to get in there, but with that swap from its Paddy D onto the Soldier, it might be a bit of a struggle because he is playing pretty well on this hit scan, and that's actually triple DPS coming out from the side of York. They're really switching things up, and it's paying off for them so far.
Well, solo heal, see how that goes for them as well. Supernova going to be trying to do everything on this Mercy, pocketing the Pharah, healing the front line. It's a very difficult job. There's a Supercharger goes down for Mark Samir. It's going to get instantly deleted by nobody. There's the Tactical Visor coming out in the sidelines. This is going to be its Paddy D finding St. Fox. Burkawada finds Ralph Mail, and they're going to turn it onto Mopin as well. There's no way they can keep going on this push. It's 86% now on the point for York. This is into last fight territory.
It's Paddy D ain't moping around. He has good positioning for his Tactical Visor and will find two. Looking like his team might just take it here. It really needs to be them rushing towards the point, and you know they just couldn't make it. That's a brilliant Graviton to lock them up, and there's nothing that we could have seen come out from Durham to stop them there. It's gonna go to 1-0 in this map.
Yeah, Durham, they played well, but unfortunately not quite well enough for Gardens. We are going to be going over on to the second stage, however. It's their time to shine if they want to be able to come back in.
And looking on here, I still think that actually York will have an advantage because Burkawada is a fantastic Junkrat player as we see him actually swapping onto it. Durf is a fantastic Reinhardt player. This map seems like it just plays to all of their strengths, and I think they're going to look really good on here, even with some high health tanks to deal with.
I really like to run coming out from Durham. Yeah, they're looking for that 3-3 composition. Everything they need just to try and stand tall and pressure that backline.
Do see some early spam coming out, as you would expect from Burkawada, as they do start getting aggressive here.
They're moving forwards. The Reinhardt getting batted back. Brigitte is going to be able to try and get it, but it's going to be York who come out on top of that first engage. They find Mopin towards the back. Wolfman not going to be able to res that up. It's a little bit too far forwards. And without that Roadhog, they're going to find it very difficult to sustain that damage through onto the enemy team. And that's going to allow York just to stand on the point.
And that Junkrat pick is doing so much work for them, softening up enemies and giving them opportunities to strike with these tanks. Mopin does take a Burkawada, but the res is right there and it doesn't really matter. This is great play coming out from York as they do just find so much ult charge as well.
They're training it back. They're training it forwards. Foolproof goes down early on. They're changing off to the Moira, AoE healing. Seeing if they can move that tank line a little bit further forwards. No D.Va being played. No Orisa either. They're chaining it up, but here comes the Riptide for Burkawada. He's going to go all around the houses. I don't think Zarya spotted out the shield. The self-barrier is there, but the Riptide's all the way to the back line. It's going to find out the Moira. That's a huge source of AoE healing taken down, and St. Fox won't be too long to follow.
St. Fox was just too far up, and as a result, the tanks just went super aggro onto him. He was scared about the tire, shielded himself, expected it to go towards him, and then, you know, they just waited for him to pop it, and then went all the way onto him, and as a result, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for this team to move on here as they do start getting aggressive.
There's the whole hog from Mopin, but it's countered with a Graviton Surge. They found everyone they needed. It's absolutely huge for them. The Coalescence is available, and they only find one kill off it, and Mark Smith chimes in with the Earth Shatter. No one went down to that Graviton. That was a really big opportunity, and they just threw it away for York. They're moving on to the point as Coalescence gets popped. It is getting timeout just as Mark Smith slams him into the wall. The Flame Strike to claim the kill, and Durham find the opening they were looking for.
And those two key players, Burkawada and Durf, just weren't in the right position. They could not capitalize upon that Graviton Surge, and as a result, that was just complete waste, and they lose the entire point for it.
They do have 79%, however, so not all is lost just yet. They got plenty of time to go for it with Burikawada popping up the Riptire. Who's he going to be looking for? Don't know if they know where it is. They should be able to hear that one out. It's going over the top. The Graviton Surge popped towards it, and the charging Reinhardt gets taken down. Nothing done about that Graviton Surge. St. Fox wasting it just a little bit, but I'll tell you what won't be wasted. That's a huge Earth Shatter. The sound barrier to try and counter it out as Durf takes down Foolproof. St. Fox goes down as well, and York definitely a little bit angry about that last fight. They're going to pay the price now, though. Durham are under the cosh, and they are going to crumble.
York turning it back, and as soon as we see a failed Graviton Surge, both teams capitalize on it. You really need to start hitting those if you want to win fights, if that's the only ultimate you're putting in, really.
They're backing it up. There's the rally for the defensive team, just giving them so much extra armor to work with. On top of that Reinhardt armor as well, very difficult to deal. Mopin not quite able to land the hook, but there's the Earth Shatter blocked up completely, and the Graviton Surge to counter it out. It's Paddy D keeping everyone alive, and there's just so much damage from York. The Riptire finds 3, and Burikawada sees York home to find that second map.
Now that is how you capitalize on a Graviton Surge, and York, give it a textbook compilation there. Fantastic play there to capitalize on it from Burikawada, and it will result in them taking the second map, even the score up 1-1 and putting themselves in a really big position.
Exactly. Let's just take a look at what made that play so special. 2 concussion grenades right on top of it, and there goes the Riptire just into the sky. Finds 3. The Earth Shatter negated by the Reinhardt shield. Very, very nice play coming out from York, and it means that our third map is the crucial one.
Certainly is, and Nepal here for us. Definitely going to be an exciting one, as so far they are 1-1, and surprisingly, even though Durham played very well with an aggressive comp, York are just beating them out here. So on control, I think York have the advantage going on in because they can utilize the strength of both Burikawada and Durf, and it's Paddy D can frag out where he wants to.
See if they can make it work. I've yet to see some standout plays coming out from Mopin, you know, on that soldier in the first time. He wasn't quite finding those tactical visors. I think he needs to step up his game just a little bit, and I'm not sure I saw him working too well there in that second map as well. I might just be calling him out because I saw him get some whiff tactical visors in the first map, and I've just been criticizing him ever since in my mind, but I would like to see it come through.
You're like a proud parent. You only want to see him do better than he currently is.
Sure, let's go with that.
I'm excited to see whether Durf does remain on this Reinhardt. It's definitely a decent pick here, but we have seen some Winstons come out. Also, whether we're going to be seeing anything along the lines of Widow. Without Z7K, I don't expect it massively from this York side, but they might have one of those substitutes. I think it was... I think it's Nobody who's swapping in for him, so maybe they do have this Widow prepared, and I'd be excited to see if they do, because what I want to see is St. Fox versus Nobody in a Widow duel, and that would be fantastic if Nobody can actually hold a candle.
It's a little bit difficult to play Widow here on Village.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just thinking about in general.
No, yeah, no, it would be good. It would be good to see them. Maybe we'll get a 1v1 afterwards. We'll have to see what goes on there, but they are going to be sticking to default style comps going through. Over on the York side, they do actually have the 3 supports coming back. Burikawada, the solo DPS. It's going to be a very default dive composition, however, for the enemy team of Durham.
Mopin looking for some of those shots, trying to spam down, and actually allows his team to take control of that high ground early. And it's going to be the side of York just switching over. They don't want to be a part of this because they have already lost that choke. So they're going to try and take a different way.
Burikawada challenging up in the skies. Doesn't have the Mercy pocketing him, but doesn't seem to be a problem as both Pharaohs going for that tanky frontline, those strafing runs. And there we go. Mopin starting to pick up the pace, just like I wanted to see him do. He's going to make it work. Taking down his Paddy D very early on, as the tanks are going to fall as well. Only 1 kill so far for the York side, and it's going to keep going the way of Durham. They are going to be able to claim plenty of kills, plenty of deaths, and plenty of point as well.
And Mopin just isn't satisfied with just holding left click and getting 3 shots. He wants to hit those sick projectile rockets, and instead is actually showing up pretty decently on this far.
Making sure that damage boost is being put to good work with the damage link and making it, keeping that pressure up. Mercy not quite found with those direct rockets. Water over the side as well, trying to just harry the back lines as York rotating around. They're going to go towards the low ground, but up into the skies, Mopin flies, trying to counter out nobody on this Brigitte. Very difficult to operate with that small shield and such large rockets flying in the face. The Helix rockets, however, is going to find Ralph and Mail. York finding in the opening as they res up nobody. The Valkyrie is going to be popped, however. They're going to be able to just try and stay alive here as Mopin gets the DMEC. This rocket barrage as well from Mopin, and all of a sudden the kill feed just spams blue as Durham open up the point. They keep hold of it, and 48% keeps ticking up.
Yeah, you were mentioning about harrying. It's going to be the Harrier jump jet who's doing all that for them as Mopin. Fantastic on this Pharah so far. So excited to see this will continue. Whether we'll see any sort of counter picks now coming out now from Paddy D, who did actually swap onto this soldier before, and it gave them the win on Lijiang.
And the win on Lijiang, certainly. See if he can do the same thing here. Pairing up with Burkawada on the Genji. It's a fearsome duo, to be sure. Whether or not they find the backline picks remains to be seen. They are moving forwards down towards the point and straight onto St. Fox. Duff jumps on forward. Zreek is going to be the backup as well. Valkyrie popped for the York offensive, as it is not available on the defending side. Self-destruct sequence burnt down now for Durham. It's going to find one. Burkawada falls down as it finds the DMEC as well. Durf falls to St. Fox, and there's the tactical visor for the soldier. It's going to get shut down almost immediately as Mopin trades his own life for it. St. Fox is going to hold strong as Supernova goes down. The res is through. This is a really big hold for Durham. 99% of 4 players on the point contest. They are going to be able to hold it.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Durham. They've looked really strong so far. And on maps where Mopin has the space to reign supreme, he does so, because this Pharah of his has been really impressive. And even with this self-destruct on point, it doesn't look like York are going to find all too much, as, you know, they just get completely destroyed. Mopin doesn't even die when using that barrage.
Just too many bodies in the way, too many shields as well. First point here on the pool goes the way of Durham. Closing it down. They're going to be able to take it down into Shrine, so they're going to be looking to keep this up. If they can have that pressure that they did there with Mopin on that Pharah, they could come up golden, but it's a little bit more difficult to operate, a little bit more opportunity to play that McCree, to play that soldier here.
And I think it's Paddy D bringing out is a good read into what's occurring, but I don't think it's going to happen. Because I don't think Mopin's going to stay on it either, because, as you said, it will be a bit of a struggle. And instead, they're going to put St. Fox onto this Junkrat, which is surprising. That's what I wanted to see from Burkawada. I wanted to see him on the Junkrat. But instead, he's on Lucio.
He's given the DPS reins over to its Paddy D, as they are going to go for the triple tank comp. 3 in the back pocket, the Holt from the Orisa, the Hook from the Roadhog, and the Diva, just to provide that extra little bit of safety. Both teams going for that Orisa comp, however. It's going to be York standing first onto the point. Both Orisas just laying down their shields. Goes golden, but the barrier was just up in time. Burkawada goes down early to Mopin. It's going to find a second one as well. Both supports fall early on for York. They're really going to struggle to keep this one going. They are going to stand on the point. They got plenty of cap going through. The DMEC is there, but it's not quite enough. Junkrat into the backline is not where you want to be, I'm afraid. Wolfman is at risk and is going to get hooked in by the Roadhog, sent over the pit. Is going to Guardian Angel to safety. Not going to be able to get away with his life, but Ralph and Mail not so lucky.
Mopin's been really impressive. He's definitely not sitting around feeling sorry for himself after that first map performance. He's definitely starting to come into his own, and I've been really impressed with pretty much everything he's been bringing out. He's really close to his tactical visor this time. He has a chance to redeem himself as he does move aggressively here.
They're pressuring forwards. 28% is ticked up as Reek moves towards. There's the tactical visor coming out for Mopin, but there's the Dragon Surge. Able to try and keep them at bay, but the zone is not quite strong enough. Mopin finding those frags, finding the kills as well on the point is Mark Smith. The res a little bit overzealous from Mercy, just making sure that Orisa's back up, but don't think you're going to be able to last too long. They're just trying to contest for as long as possible, and it's going to be 47% racked up.
And now it looks like this is the Durham we've seen. When they take control of a map properly, it's very hard to deal with them. And I don't feel so good for York's hopes anymore. They've been completely dashed. Like, they don't have a massive amount of ultimates either to get on in here. Perhaps if they generate another one, go for a dry, generate a couple more, go for a dry run, and they could start making an aggressive play, but it will be difficult if they do make a move on forward here.
If Burkawada can get a good boot, you know, it's Paddy D can find a headshot onto Mopin, or even that Zenyatta, it could be hugely impactful. Both superchargers go down. There's the Riptire, but he gets taken down instantly from both Zreek. The Riptire still in play, however, still going around looking for it, but there's the boop onto Mopin. Here's York coming back in. They don't need ultimates to make it work. That supercharger doing everything they needed. The res over onto St. Fox. Marksmere, the last player for Durham left on the point, is going to go down to Burkawada. That doesn't seem like it needs to be DPS to get the kills. He is going to be getting them with that Lucio. It's Paddy D. It's going to be chiming in, and finally it's Wolfman to fall, allowing them to get the cap back.
This is horrendous for the side of Durham. They had 5, maybe 6, I don't think quite 6 ultimates going on into this fight. They used 3 at the very least of them and just completely got stomped. And now they've got a pretty even ult economy. And this is just York taking control of the situation in a way we really didn't expect from them, as we do see aggressive plays starting to come through.
Oh, it was a very strong Dragon Strike. Really polarizing in terms of the positioning. Transcendence burnt towards the backline. For Durham, they're going to have to go without, but they are going to go without plenty well, as it seems like the Riptide's going to find the front line, the Holt as well, onto the enemy Orisa. But it's Mopin now coming in with that tactical visor. Supernova has to play low down, but it's not going to be able to stay there for very long, and that's going to mean that he's able to get those shots on through. Hold that left click, my friend, doing the job that you need to. The DMEC comes through. The self-destruct sequence is going to land safe up on high. The remech can come on through, but the contest is going to be strong, 96%, but Durham cap back.
The Reddit Lucio finally falls here as Burkawada looking for every boop he possibly can, going really aggressive into the enemy backline, but it won't do a massive amount for his team in the end, as they do lose out on this fight, but they just need to win one more, and they do have Dearth Supercharger to play around, and Zreek, with this whole hog, can pump out a lot of damage if it's boosted.
They're very quick at going for those rotates. They're out one door and into the other. Burkawada opens it up onto Ralph and Mail, so no Transcendence being built up for the defense. They need to find and try and capitalize on that pick, and nobody found his way all the way around the back, has the rocket booster just to get him away. Both superchargers are going to be able to find it, and the Hogs both go over the edge. The halt from Marksmere, but it's going to be capitalized on better by the York team. Only St. Fox trying to contest now. That supercharger is still active, keeping everyone nice and boosted up, and there's the Dragon Strike coming on through. It's going to zone everyone away. 99% for both teams, but it's going to be York to find the point, and we are down to the last. Right to the end of Nepal we go to settle this best-of-3 series.
What a tit-for-tat map, and tit-for-tat series, really. It's been 1, and it's gone even up to 1. We go into the last map, and it's gone 1, and even up to 1 again. We're getting the full extent of these teams, and it's been really great to see them working here, because fantastic plays from both, and they've really been excelling to outdo each other.
Certainly have, and they've been doing pretty well at the moment. You know, they're keeping up standards, but I've yet to see some, you know, truly default compositions with, you know, the Hanzos and the Widows being paired together or going for those 3-3. We saw it once. It wasn't quite operated to the standard that we're used to seeing, but, you know, they're making what they have work.
I think the reason being is I don't actually feel too comfortable with Mopin on this Hanzo. So I'm very happy to have him on the Sphara, because we saw on the first part of this map what he can do with this.
In goes the charge from the Reinhardt. They're taking a forwards position, but it's taken back as well. Reinhardt Diva, a little bit of an odd combo, but it is going to have that Xayah to back them up. So a nice 3-2-1 coming out for the side of York. They are going to make it work. Pushing onto the point. They're not finding any frags just yet, but Marksmere goes very low. Traded back, however, onto Burkawada. They are going to be able to try and find the frags. Mopin in the skies as well. Looking to just zone people out with that Pharaoh with no hit scan. It's going to be a little bit difficult to deal with them, but it's Paddy Dean. He can land those arrows and make short work of it. However, the backline's going down, and so is the front line. Seems like they are starting to crumble as the kills going both ways, actually pretty equally, but finally Durham start to edge out a lead. Nobody gets demeched, and Farah is going to be able to do the damage necessary.
Durham taking control early, but this is what we saw on the last point. If they can't hold it well enough, this will just be the side of York coming back together and actually utilizing a lot. They do have the Coalescence from Supernova, which can be huge, especially in fights where there's not a massive amount of ultimates yet.
Straight onto the point they go. They have the Coalescence. It is going to be burned out, and that is going to be an Eaton rocket barrage coming out from Mopin. No damage falling through from it. You can see Moira just trying to zone out the Winston and keep everyone being pressured by it alive as well. St. Fox is going to draw first blood into the fight, however. Zreek is going to go down. No Gravidon Surge, but there is an Earth Shatter available. If Durf can be healed up and make sure he can hold up that shield for just long enough, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to need it. The trade goes through, and Mopin starts to ring in as well. There's the self-destruct sequence, the bubble. He's going to wrap it up nice and tidy for the Durham team to stay away. There's the self-destruct sequence in response. 46% on the cart is going to keep ticking up.
Interesting to see that they stuck with Burakawada on this Lucio. It did work from the last map, so you know they are feeling comfortable, but they need to start getting something on in here because they're just losing players.
They're keeping it forwards, and again, St. Fox harrying the sidelines. He's done so much work on this Tracer. Honestly, they need to think about dealing with him. Get that Pharah in, or get the McCree in to try and counter out, or potentially go for that Brigitte, but instead, they're just going to run forwards. They have the Earth Shatter. Again, he charges in, sends them away. The Coalescence comes in as well, finding the D-Mech onto foolproof. So they are going to make short work of the defensive side.
Mopin does try to strike back alongside the rest of his team, but unfortunately, it will just be him, the last one who's trying alongside Marksmere, and he's not going to last very long.
No, they're going to be crumbling around the ears. Durham are going to fall at the final hurdle. They're just trying to contest for as long as possible, get up to that 99% mark with the Primal Rage, with that Diva. Just falling back now. They're only up to 98, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. If they manage to turn the cap, it will be pretty much going their way, but we'll have to wait and see if they're able to do so.
And they are looking for this one final fight. They're even in ultimates, but they don't have any to make big plays. They can just counteract. So they're looking for the counterpunch here to just try and capitalize on a mistaken ultimate.
They have the Transcendence, they have the Pulse Bomb, and the Rocket Barrage. It's going to be burnt out very early on. It's Paddy D goes down, the Helix Rockets trade it back almost immediately. There's a Gravidon Surge and a Transcendence layered on top, meaning they are just staying alive for as long as possible. The Earth Shatter finds nothing for Durf. They are going to be sent back yet again. They are rolling up the capture time, but it's not going to be quite enough as Mopin takes out the front. In Zreek as well. Nobody is going to get taken out by St. Fox again, being so critical. The Tracer, so impactful to overtime, taking away Durham, are going to be able to take it down. The series goes their way, all the way down to the wire, but they're going to edge it out at the final hurdle.
And I have to say, a real rags to riches story coming out from Opid in this series, because started off looking a little bit awkward, couldn't really do too much, and really, as soon as he got on this Pharah, you knew he was born to play that champion, because it just worked out so well for him. And even though we do see him probably going down here to It's Paddy D, who was doing a valiant effort on this soldier to try and counteract him, Mopin was just doing so much work, and you see that reflected in these end cards.
Yeah, really nice performance coming out from both teams. Unfortunately, it was York's turn to take the L, unfortunately, and now it's Durham to take the victory. So congratulations to them. Very nice play throughout this best of three. We are going to be moving on to our next game relatively shortly, however. We're going to take a quick break whilst we get that all set up. Make sure you stay tuned, because I believe we've got the Manchester game coming up next. We'll wait on the fixtures to be locked in for that. And we'll come back with the action. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the second game of the evening. Of course, another best of three, and it's going to be the University of Manchester taking on UCL, University College London. Thanks for tuning in and staying tuned. If you saw the previous game, you'll know that it is going to be me, joined by Rook. How you doing? We're going to be bringing out the action.
I'm still trying to figure out what you were talking about with that bottle of water, but it doesn't really matter. We have a fantastic team in UCL in front of us, and I'm very excited to see what they bring. They've played a couple of streamed games earlier this season, playing against the first one that obviously comes to my mind is Newcastle, which is a great series. Went all the way to the final map, obviously, because we play through maps, but it was a 2-1. And actually, UCL struggling on the first two maps, but did start to bring it back as we looked at that third one where they were playing, I think it was in fact Nepal, and we saw some really impressive play coming out from Darius Davros and Green Republic.
Well, I'll have to see if they're able to emulate that performance or if they're going to have a story of their own to tell. We do have a couple of the map bans coming on through. It's going to be Anubis going away, Volskaya, Oasis, Hanamura, and Numbani so far.
And we do see, yeah, and with Volskaya going away, it's not a huge surprise unless teams are playing something like maybe the Sombra and have a specific play there. Like I think, if I remember correctly, Swansea have a proficient Sombra player on their roster. They aren't really going to be picking Volskaya. It's not a good map for a lot of teams. They haven't practiced a lot of it. And it gets banned very often, so not a huge surprise. We do also see Blizzworld get taken out of the conversation, which is kind of sad for me. I love that map.
Yeah, it's very, very pretty, but unfortunately, not a lot of teams like to run it. Route 66 taken away as well, meaning that we are moving down to that ever faithful Li Jiang combo with the King's Row still available. Icon War gets banned away in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Interested to see where we will end up here. Obviously, no King's Row bans yet. No, again, Lijiang Tower bans, which is entirely unsurprising because they are very popular maps. And if we do go back to Lijiang, I'll be very excited because we had some really nice Lijiang play earlier in this, earlier today. So I do want to see more of that. And I think UCL, I want to see them specifically redeem themselves on the map because we did, as I said, have them play against Newcastle, and they did kind of struggle there. And it's a map which I know from previous encounters that they can play well on. So definitely interested to see this Manchester team, which does have a lot of well-known players, to actually step up and put them on their head on play instead.
They just continue to ban. It seems to have stalled a little bit. They're having some proper team talks. I think they haven't figured out quite what's left. They weren't keeping track, and we're going to have to just try and reestablish what's still there. It's King's Row, Li Jiang still left. That's what we know. Don't think anyone else knows. Yeah, Nepal still available. Something that we saw last map. I think they've still got Hollywood in the running as well.
So in total, they have Hollywood, Kings Row, Lijiang, Nepal, and Gibraltar this time, which I would be excited to see. A generally wide swathe of maps. Excited to see what they bring out, as we do actually see Lijiang get taken off the table early by UCL.
It's going to be the Hollywood ban as well. That leaves Kings Row, Nepal, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. So one hybrid, one payload, and one King of the Hill. They are going to figure out how they want to just pick those final orders, but I think we'll just have to wait and see what they're going to do. Otherwise, I'll just get far too confused.
Definitely excited to see some of this Gibraltar coming out. I did outline what I really like about it, a lot of that diversity. So we'll be interested to see how that works out for them. But, I'm also excited to see the King's Row because it has less of that diversity, but it has teams which are so practiced on it. More than anything, we get to see these really interesting strategies come out that they have refined.
Yeah, you could pick up the Widow, absolute playground in the right positions with the rest of the team as well working with you. It can be really devastating, and I'll be excited to see if they're able to pull out these strats or if they're just going to go back to their basics. We've seen quite a few comfort picks, particularly the Soldier coming out quite a lot previously today. So hopefully we'll move a little bit away from that and more towards the meta.
Definitely So for this going, we've actually had Gibraltar come in as the last pick. We're still deciding on the first two. It will be between Kings Row and Nepal.
Just have to decide, but we are going to see. We will see all three maps nonetheless. We do stream all three. We play it all out. Obviously, those map differences can make a little bit of a difference when it comes to the seeding and things like that. So we do go all the way, meaning that no matter what, we'll see all three. The series can be decided before then, but we'll have to wait and see what they choose to go for first. Gibraltar will be played second, so Kings Row is first. Wait, is it?
Yep.
No.
Yep. Nepal, Kings Row, then Gibraltar.
Have
yeah.
I been bamboozled again?
Yeah, you have. It's okay, John. It's all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh well. Well, that's going to be what happens. Nepal into Kings Row into Gibraltar. Someone needs to figure this out. That isn't me, because honestly, I'm just quite obviously not capable
John,
of doing
it's okay.
so.
I'm on top of it, and we do have Nepal coming in as our first map, so we're all ready for that. We're just waiting to get in when all the players are ready. So there we go. We hear the entry sound, and we're about to kick off out of the gates.
Yeah. First up is Nepal. As we were saying, we're going to be going into the Sanctum for first dibs.
We'll have possible substitutions coming through on the next part because we do have some subs waiting in the wings to try and move in for the side of UCL, and I'll be interested to see how they use that to their advantages. They won't be starting off with Baldwin in. Greeny Republic, as I believe I stated previously, fantastic player, especially on this Roadhog, can really show up if he gets the opportunity to shine. And, this first map shrine is going to be one of those because he can find a lot of hooks alongside Jurius Davros, who is currently hovering that Arisa.
They're pressuring it forwards. They've got plenty of time to lock it in. Of course, Wrecking Ball not allowed in today's game, so despite it being hovered, they didn't set up the lobby properly. I'll have some angry words, but no, it's going to be fine. They aren't going to be allowed to play it this week. Don't think they're going to be able to run it as quad tank. Unless they are actually going to try to, which I would be surprised about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right. They're just going to have a gentleman's agreement to not use it, presumably. Yeah, there we go. As we do see them all setting out, and we will see some pretty standard comps as to what they were hovering previously. Interesting to see picks actually on this far on this map, which will be slightly strange.
There we go. I mean, it's not too out of left field, but the Roman Sparta on that Widowmaker should be able to make short work of it, as long as he's lining up those shots. You see, they're just playing around the side, the Holt, not quite finding anyone over the edge. Those Roadhogs looking to send out the hooks, but those barriers from the Orisa just keeping them and their teams nice and safe.
Oh, unfortunately, the hook gets broken there from Greeny Republic, but at least his team do take that at first initiative and that pick onto picks.
They are going to trade it back, however. Jurius Davros goes down, and Void Boy finds the opposing Hanzo as well, allowing them to step forwards onto the point. Manchester set up their holds.
And despite being even in picks, UCL just back off. They don't. Oh, sorry, no, they weren't even in picks. I got a little bit mistaken there. They were down 2, so they decided to back off. They want to reset and gather their strength for the next fight, where Void Boy already has that Dragon Strike, and that is something to be feared, as he does drop it straight away.
Oh, there's the Dragon Strike. Just a zoning ultimate, though, as Jurius Davros left a little bit isolated. Will pay the price to the headshot from a little Jamie. Right clicks on that Roadhog. Very, very dangerous. And aimed correctly. The barrier going down means Psyche just gets hooked in, and with no leap to get him out, he's just going to get taken down as well. A little Jamie doing a lot of work on this hog.
Great usage of this far as well, and using the pillars and the ceilings to try and deny a lot of lines of sight, and Pix is really utilizing it well. Roman Sparta can't find the kill, and they're going to try and engage on him here.
Dr. Pi used the Transcendence there, and I'm not too sure why. Maybe he saw the Widowmaker lining him up, but doesn't seem to matter too much. Vex will go down, rezzed up pretty quickly by Bun Bun, and there's the Valkyrie coming out for UCL. They're going to be moving forwards. They're going to be trying to zone them off as well with that Dragon Strike. Roadhog taken down early on into the fight. Suki trying to res people up. Will get a little Jamie back into the fight as the Transcendence is popped from Vex. The hook not going to be able to find any damage, and over the side he goes. The whole hog finds one, finds the other tank as well, and that's going to be a successful push coming up from UCL.
Pixto looking for an opportunity to try and close this out. He will dip below, but is just going to get sent back to the spawn room. Has that ultimate, though, so it's something to keep in mind because he can set up for it.
The res comes out, just keeping Vex back onto the point. They don't have that Transcendence available, but a lot of ults stacking up for Manchester now as they are going to move out of spawn. They get the pick onto Vex, but it's traded back instantly.
It was a really nice pick coming out from Void Boy, but unfortunately, he eats a couple too many shots. Well, one, and does die straight away.
Suki able to get the res off, and it's Void Boy to get the pick as well. A good start to the fight for Manchester as Whole Hog comes on in on top of that supercharger. There is just so much damage pouring out of that scrap gun. It's going to see them safely onto the point, and Manchester take the hold yet again with 86% ticking up.
They're looking to close out this map here. They do have the advantage. Unfortunately, they do also have 2 ultimates, so UCL are going to struggle to get on in here because they just have nothing to work with in that Dragon Strike.
That is absolutely brutal. Both supports go down. They can't even touch the point. Manchester claim the Sanctum.
Fantastic play from them to actually hold the point so definitely. And they're looking strong going into this second round.
Certainly are. They are making sure that they have that pressure. A couple of swaps being hovered by the Manchester side. Maybe looking to change things up, but seems like they are going to stick with Void Boy on that Hanzo because of the impact he was having. It would be silly to take him away, but Hyde might be going over onto this Reinhardt instead of going for that Hog Orisa combo.
And the interesting thing is that a little Jamie swapped over onto the Lucio, and Suki is now on the Zarya. Obviously got specific players who play specific things. Interesting to see that we've actually seen 2 players swap over onto a Lucio today from outside of that role.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be pretty standard, but they are going to change off the Lucio actually over onto the Mercy, going for that fated combo. No Widowmaker, however, it's going to be traded out for picks on that Pharah. Pretty standard here, though, on the Paul. They are just going to be trying to contest the skies, but Roman Sparta on that soldier gets the best of it. They are going to get the charge onto the enemy Reinhardt. Greeny Republic is going to be able to hold strong, though, as Psyche able to take down Hyde. That control of the skies paying dividends for them as they just hold onto the point, and UCL take first capture.
And the soldier priority date has been astounding. It's really worked out for, well, basically every team that's run it. We saw Mopin do impressively on it. I can't quite remember who it was on the side of York, but they also ran it. And now we're seeing Roman Sparta here, and he just completely shut down picks in that first fight and gave his team so much breathing room.
And that should not be happening, especially with a Mercy in the team. The healing, it should just be too strong for Roman Sparta to do damage. Unless he hits his Helix rockets, it's going to be very difficult for him to deal with picks unless he doesn't get that healing. So, see if they're able to keep it up now, and it seems to be going quite well so far. Both Pix and Suki finding those picks early on. Roman Sparta instead turning the attention to Dr. Pi, but it's not going to go too well for them as the kills are raining through for Manchester. The res on the point onto Greeny Republic means that Reinhardt is still standing strong. They're trying to contest for as long as possible as Bun Bun trying to stay alive, had popped that Valkyrie just to try and keep that contest going on. They're up to 50%, but I don't think they're going to get much more as Manchester finally get the cap.
Yeah, Manchester with some nice play there to sort that out, and they will take control about 50%, as you said. The main point of this is they have ultimate advantage to, next Tuesday. They have everything apart from Pix's ultimate, which is only at 65%. That's not even that far away, and they're going to have an advantage going to this next fight.
Check it out, there comes the Earth Shatter, straight down onto the floor, but the Transcendence to keep everyone nice and healthy. Plenty of ultimates remain, and with that Graviton Sturge still in the back pocket, that's just going to be popped out, and straight behind they go. The Dragon Strike straight on through. That's an easy clap there for Manchester.
But at least there is a redeeming factor for the side of UCL. They now have, well, pretty much 4 ultimates going on in here, and they can combo that barrage with either the Shatter or the Graviton Surge. So they have ways to get a team win.
Falling back to the point, they're going to keep it in the back pocket. They have, as you say, plenty more to deal with coming their way. They do have that Valkyrie to try and deal with the Graviton Surge, but Psyche's Rocket Barrage is going to be so crucial here if they can find the picks with it. Both the player and the concept of getting a kill, it's going to be really, really quite big, but it seems like Void Boy, not Void Boy, Void Boy.
I wish we had Void Boy.
That'd be pretty
That would
dope,
be such a meme.
Unfortunately, I think he's American and isn't going to come to English university anytime
Also
soon.
doesn't play Overwatch. That's a big issue.
Well, you don't know that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he just plays the League Legends. But regardless, we do see now some aggressive plays coming through, and it's going to be Dr. Pi with his Coalescence. Sorry, not Coalescence, Transcendence, who's going to be key if Durios Davros does hit that Graviton.
They're going to be stalled out yet again as 87% ticks away. There's plenty to deal with. There's a Graviton Surge only onto Hyde. A little bit overzealous for Dr. Pine maybe, but it's going to sieve their Reinhardt from that Rocket Barrage picks and the Void Boy as well, just sending out those ults to zone people away. 99%. They do manage to get the touch with the Valkyrie Mercy, but Suki in the back line is just going to be able to deal with it. They'll send them packing, and Manchester take the 2-0 here in Nepal.
And that was like a gate of fire going on there. They chucked the Dragon Strike into one side of the statue and then just barraged onto the other one. And there was just nowhere they could pass through. The only way they actually managed to scrape through and try and stall that out was a Mercy and Farah flying over the top to try and contest. But just here we see Void Boy, fantastic so far in his hands, though.
I mean, that's the bread and butter, isn't it? That's,
I mean, yeah.
You know, it's a little bit
that
lost.
is evident of his skill, though. Regardless, he has been.
It's a little bit lost last week. I'll give him that, but it is effective nonetheless. We are going to be seeing Manchester take down the first map. We're going to be moving over onto Kings Row next.
And here it is still, as I mentioned before in the last series, as we're moving to a different map type, UCL could come out on top here. Like, even though and could even be regarded as not even that far behind Manchester, even though they are one map down, because they can start to do much better on some of these other picks and play a different style, which may just enable them to do a lot more, as we actually saw when on the last map we saw, which team was it? Durham swap onto that offense and started playing aggressive, and they just completely thumped in on that, and it worked so well for them.
Certainly did. But here we go. Onto the streets of Kings Row. A well-trodden path for many an Overwatch player, certainly in the competitive scene as well. Heralded as one of the best designed maps, and I would have to agree in a lot of respects. It's very clean. It's very
I mean, if you look at the floor, it's not that clean, but there's no place like home.
Yeah, okay. So, fine. Fair enough. I'll give you that. Sightlines maybe a little bit cleaner than on most. And quite frankly, it's a very pretty map as well.
Mm-hmm. As a Bret, you can appreciate a lot of greys.
Yeah?
And browns. And
well,
a little bit of green.
There's a lot you can do with that, you know?
I agree, but it's just interesting that saying this about this map, which is one of the darker maps, but it does, I agree, look pretty nonetheless.
Well, maybe if you were a true intellectual like me, you'd understand, but it seems like you're not.
I don't appreciate greys and browns as much as
I'll have to have the big brain plays myself, unfortunately, so just not appreciate it. Don't know what you're doing to me, Rook. It's just
I'm sorry.
Gonna have a breakdown now.
You can go back to blank after this. It's all right.
That's okay.
He'll laugh at your as well. He'll enjoy your grounds and your greys and your browns and laugh at your bad jokes like I used to laugh at his.
I've never made a bad joke in my life.
That doesn't sound true, honestly.
I think it's very true.
You know
what else is true is the fact that UCL are going to be running the 3-3 composition. You've got the Moira, you've got the Lucio and the Brigitte. They're going to be coming over onto the first point. A very potent position to play on the first point of Kings Row. Certainly can be carried over to that second stage and third as well if you're lucky. And they're straight through the hotel. They're onto the back line. A little Jamie has to fly away. The charge straight on through. Moira's taking names as a little Jamie and Suki both fall very fast. Hyde soon to follow. And that is the strength of 3-3, my friends. There is no one to be seen on the point. Manchester disintegrate.
You cannot stop the pain train as they just rolled on in, go straight through the hotel, and just perform a sweet, decisive maneuver and blow them out of the water. There
was very little counterplay there. I mean, they weren't prepared for that composition. You know, they didn't have a high ground set up. They didn't have, you know, the Brigitte or the anyone to deal with it. And Hyde able to get the charge, however, onto that Earth Shatter. And here we go. They're starting to hold strong here on second stage. A little bit too far forwards, maybe. But UCL gets seen away yet again, and that's going to allow the payload to move further forwards.
Mm-hmm. The second phase is good for that Reinhardt. He can hold up the corners, especially if you have some solid DPS, and more specifically, that Zarya to back you up, because you can just survive for so long with a massive amount of damage mitigation. As we do see the Coalescence coming through to try and take out that aerial threat.
Yeah, it's going to try and zone away a little Jamie and Pix. It's going to do its job as the payload does around the corner, but Pix has the rocket barrage straight towards him. He goes, but not before he gets 2 kills. Psyche is able to trade it back, but not before the damage is done. Hyde trying to wade forwards throughout all of this fight. As the D-Mech goes through towards the backlines, they're contesting with 1 mini D.Va. A little Jamie gets the res as Dr. Pie takes the kill.
Wading through the puddles of King's Row, Hyde wades through the battle as well, as you said, and just completely decimates UCL with Pix's beautiful barrage there on the Pharah. And there's so many ults on the side of Manchester. How are UCL going to get on in here? It will take something really special to win this upcoming fight.
Yeah, they have swapped it over. Roman Spot looking for Pix on Pix. Looking for them on a little Jamie as well. Those headshots all crucial, and this is really Widow's playground, as I highlighted before. And they're gonna have it to foul it back, but it seems like Void Boy's gonna land the shots. The Earth Shatter comes through from Hyde yet again, finds 2 to the floor, but they are just zoned away beautifully by UCL. The cart stays forwards, but in come the kills for Manchester. Roman Spot are only able to find 1, and it's a little bit too late into the fight.
I feel like if perhaps we'd seen Greeny go straight into the wall, or not even charged there, that could have been a really good turnaround from the side of UCL, because he had the shatter. Everyone was lined up. They were like, aha, we need to do a ton of damage after that shatter hit, and Green Republic could have just laid them all flat on their backs, and his team could have stood back up and unleashed hell. That would have been a really nice play, but instead Greeny just overly aggressive here, and he needs to sort that out if his team are going to move forward here, because Hyde is just beating him out on this Reinhardt so far.
Dragaton Surge combo available for Suki and Void Boy. They're going to be looking to try and get it, and then goes the Reinhardt. That could be the signal, but instead, it's going to be Justice raining down from above, only finding 1 kill. Void Boy able to take down the front line. No Graviton Surge from either side now available, but Roman Sparta doing all the work for his team. But again, it's just too late for it. There's no way that you can continue in this fight. They have to fall back again.
And now at least UCL have 5 ultimates going in here. So this is looking good for them. They can utilize this advantage. They can just push on in. They can play pretty standard. They don't have to do anything spectacular, especially when Dr. Pie gets picked early like that.
There's the Graviton Surge, it's onto 2, has the Mercy and the Zenyatta involved in it. There's the Transcendence, a little bit too late, as both of the other players have already gone down. Pix, dropping himself a little bit low into the fight, has to try and get away with that concussion grenade. Rocket, sorry. The Psyche trying to zone out the front of the fight. UCL, a good fight on their backs means that they can round that next corner. They're looking to try and pressure to capture this second point.
And, you know, we needed to see more trigger discipline coming out from Dr. Pie, who just saw Graviton, press Q, and as a result, his team is going to be lacking a lot of sustain to get through what could be another huge set of ultimates after Greeny hits a big shatter.
Calling it back, Hyde still trying to capitalize as Reinhardt a little bit too far forwards, but has to just put that shield back up, protect the rest of his team. You got responsibilities, my friend. It's not all about you. And when you shatter into a shield, it's really not your day either. As Greeny Republic, gets blocked up. Hyde with a beautiful reversal on that one, and they are going to be able to make short work of it. As Pix, the better Widowmaker in this instance, is going to be echoing the better play on the team for Manchester as they hold on the corner.
There are these characters in Overwatch where if you're playing a Ditto, against the other character, someone else playing the same character, if you win that 1v1, if you like outplay the other player in your role, it can just decide the match. And we have both the Widows and the Reinhardt here. So if either of one of them takes control of this match by winning over the other, it's going to be pretty huge. And we've seen that time after time from Hyde. He has been really impressive on this as we see the Dragon Strike.
They're not going to combo it with the Graviton Surge. Wasn't available for Juria Stavros. Instead, Hyde's going to get the kill onto Bun Bun as the Dragon Strike not finding anything really. They were trying to generate space, but it just wasn't happening. Hyde staying nice and healthy thanks to the pocket from a little Jamie. He's going to charge straight on back and is going to get taken down, but not before Roman Sparta falls to the Battle Mercy headshot. That Caduceus pistol, or blaster, sorry, doing a lot of work.
And this has just been UCL stuck on this corner for a hell of a long time. They've been struggling to push around it, really. They don't have much in the way of ultimates either, so they need to be careful because Suki has this Graviton Surge, and they're definitely not afraid to use it.
Certainly not. There's a big combo in the wings, but everyone's building them up. And there it goes. They're looking to try and find it, but Transcendence is popped to keep them nice and healthy. Void Boy, however, is landing the headshots with the devilish bow and arrow. He's going to be rounding the corner, seeing them back, and Roman Sparta just drops down from the grapple just in the wrong place, and he's going to get headshot out. Arrow to the skull makes him a very unhappy chap.
Void Boy, as we highlighted in the last round, has been really impressive on this Hanzo. Someone to definitely keep an eye on, because he's doing a lot of damage, and, you know, hey, a lot of damage means a lot of dead people, and with dead people, you can start pushing the point with that advantage. And UCL are just not able to find their own initial picks as consistently as he does, and that's why they've been really struggling here.
Next fight looking to be a big one. There's the Graviton Surge. They did use the Dragon Tyke on top of it, but it's already allowed them away. And in the meantime, Void Boy, unfazed by being dragged towards where the enemy team want him to be, is going to get the kill onto Jurios Davros. But the trades are coming through as Jurios Davros gets rezzed up. UCL looking to keep this pushing forwards. There's the Earth Shatter. We'll find two. Dr. Pie and Void Boy hit the deck, but they can't move forwards and capitalize. As a little Jamie making sure that they are nice and healthy, keeping everyone alive, as there's the Dragon Strike that they were looking for. Psyche goes down, and Hyde just wades on into the fight. UCL getting sent away yet again. Down into the forge you go as Vex jumps off the edge, signaling the end of the fight.
This was actually all orchestrated at the start by Hyde going really aggressive as soon as that grab was dropped, pushing so many members back, and they only lose a couple as a result, which means everyone's in position. He can just rock back up to this fight, and they just take control of it from there after what looked like a really bad situation for them.
Transcendence pop to try and get them towards the payload. Only 2 seconds left. They have to contest now. They're looking for it, but there's a huge Graviton Surge coming up from Suki. That groups them all up, and that is a death sentence being dealt. The death blow as well on round one for Manchester, as they are going to hold before that third point.
The death sentence there really came when they saw this Transcendence getting popped to try and deny some of that damage that was coming through. They were using it as a tempo one, and, you know, you can't do that against these Zarya and this Zarya Dragon Strike combo, where they just drop the Graviton Surge, and as a result, you just all die because there's just far too much damage coming at you. And the only thing which could have possibly stopped it was the Transcendence from Zenyatta, but they just used it too early. It got arguably baited out from them, and they crumble as a result.
I mean, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You have to contest the payload, which means that you can't get picked off on the push. You have to burn the Transcendence early, but then the Graviton Surge is the risk you take, and you have to make a choice, and pretty much both of them are the wrong one.
Mm-hmm. It is hard, and in the end, it will all end up that way. They do lose out on that full push. It's now Manchester's turn to do that pushing, and, you know, we've seen them play very well aggressively with a 2-0 win on Nepal. So let's see what they bring out here. If they do bring out the Ana, I will be very excited because I love seeing Ana.
Looks like they're going to go for that 3-3 again, but they could be hovering just the Widow for maybe some early picks. Looking towards the enemy team, looking for Roman Sparta, who has been playing that Widow consistently throughout those second point and towards that third point as well. Just trying to challenge it out. But I have to wait to see if they are going to stay on it, because, of course, they do have the Brigitte. They do have that Lucio. That's not the most healing in the world, unless you're right up in their faces. Could be a little bit tricky, so wouldn't be surprised to just see him swapped off. And, yeah, he was just going for the scout, swapping over to the Moira. Being a good old support and bringing up the rear with that healing.
In the rear with the gear, but it's going to be actually Void Boy probably leading the charge alongside Hyde, as they do just try and roll on through here, as we actually saw just a second ago when it was actually UCL making that offense.
But this is the kind of engage you want. You sit up on the high ground, you take the engage you want, but you have to take the engage unless you're just going to give them the point. Come on, where are you? Drop down. Guys, come on. There we go. Finally into the fight. Green Republic finds himself a little bit high dry as no one else wants to go anywhere near this Manchester team. They find the DMEC, they find the kill onto the Mini Diva as well. Nearly able to get the full cap on this first push as Pix gets trapped up. Will not get taken down, however, as the Zarya bubble keeps him nice and safe. And Manchester have a good start to the push, but UCL just don't contest them at all and pay a massive price for it. I honestly can't make hide and hair of that.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. No rhyme or reason there, really. They should have just dropped down onto the point, contested it, but they all seemed just far too reluctant. I think Jurios Davros, is now swapped over onto this Reinhardt, but, like, no one really put stuff out there. The only one dealing damage really was Psyche, but it's just not enough on its own, and this Junkrat can't be the entire damage put out for your team. As he basically only was because no one else could really get down and dirty with the rest of the team.
And remember, by this time, Manchester had already gone for the contest to deal with this corner. They're not stepping forwards. They've allowed Manchester a lot of ground already. Hyde getting contested here now. Finally, they're going for it. But there's the Earthshatter. Finds the front line. The Valkyrie pop to try and keep them alive. They are going to stay alive just for now as Hyde goes down to Roman Sparta. But they get the D-Mech on the push. Pick's able to find Roman Sparta in the back lines. They're zoning away the Mini Diva. Mercy trying to keep them alive. The Jurios Davlos Franks in, but the rest of the team is left alone. They are split up, divided, and conquered as the Manchester team push on forwards. Greeny Republic towards the back as the rally gets popped. The Transcendence on the defense as well. They're looking to try and continue it as Hyde comes back into the fight. Dr. Pi has that Gravidon Surge. Hyde nowhere near that Earthshatter anymore, but there's the self-destruct sequence available, and there's no way that UCL can continue this contest. Manchester, again, roll over the second point.
After a little bit of a shaky moment there, the side of Manchester do manage to pull it back, and now they do have 3 ultimates going to this next point against what, in a few moments, in about like 20 seconds, it could possibly be 3, but it really relies on Jurios Davros to play well on this Zarya, and he's going to be the key for this next fight.
Only 1 or 2 fights is all it's going to take for Manchester. They've got plenty of time to deal with it. Hyde just swinging around, building up so much ult charge. He's almost ready for one. And he's going to go down, unfortunately, to Roman Sparta. And there's the Gravidon Surge they were looking for. Oh, a beautiful Poco Bomb onto the back line. But Psyche's already done the damage with that Riptire. Pix trades it back. They are even into the fight. They're standing tall, and they are zoning away the back line as Pix is just doing so much damage. Is that a DPS I see? But no, it's just the Lucio zip-zopping about, doing the damage, doing the work as Greeny Republic is going to fall to the boot. The Mercy into the skies has popped that Valkyrie to try and stay alive, but they're getting zoned away. The Coalescence is popped. The Earthshatter on top, but there's a Gravidon Surge. The Dragon Strike is not there. I think that might have been eaten by Suki. They aren't going to be able to make it work. They're not contesting the cart, but they're getting plenty of kills. And Manchester see at home a quick 2-0 here on Kings Row.
Even with a beautiful tire coming out from Psyche, it just wasn't enough. So much aggression, great plays coming out from Pix. Definitely my pick for this game. Really playing well on that Lucio aggressively and also keeping the team in the right place at the right time. Hyde, of course, doing fantastic and just generating so much damage. And, you know, he generated an ult from that, so the team, obviously the overtime did take over, but nice generation from him was like a theme throughout this entire series so far. He has just been getting those ult charges, getting superchargers, getting shatters, whenever they're needed for his team.
I mean, Manchester, just again, they're just so good at playing Kings Row. You know, it's their home turf. It's very difficult to contest them on that. They're a little bit open on that defense, but when it comes to the attack, they know exactly what they're doing and they hit every beat of the fights that they want. That's exactly what we saw here today. We're going over onto the third map, which is Watchpoint Gibraltar. We are going to play it out, even though the best of 3 is already won. It's going Manchester's way, but we do need the map differences, so we're going to finish that third and final map.
And that will be our final map for the season, for this evening in Watchpoint Gibraltar. And the one I was talking about earlier, I'm excited to see how this is going to go, especially when we see these players like Hyde who can play both of those more static main tanks. What I want to see from him, though, is if he can bring out Winston, perfect that trifecta, and whether they can play a more divey comp. It's not necessarily what's necessary here, but I want to see this team prove themselves more than anything. It might be more strong in the mid section where you don't go into point 2, where you can just jump around and get a lot of that maneuverability because there's a lot of different flaws to work on. So I'll be excited to see if they do bring that out at all. I expect, however, that Manchester will just remain running the Reinhardt, maybe probably the Zarya again from Suki, and they'll just, run relatively standard comps because so far, Void Boy has been fantastic DPS and Jamie has been fantastic on, well, pretty much anything they've played. They have played a little bit that Roadhog, but in general, this team has just been so consistent over various roles.
Yeah, I mean, and not only the roles, the team has been consistent over many seasons. They have had a couple of dips around, and they've been challenged out by some of the top players, but it's changing a lot this season, and I can see them again. They're starting to shine through if they can stick to going for those comps that are really strong. As we saw the 3-3 goats comp the idea of going for those Hanzo Widow combos and sticking to that. If they can play meta, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in some of those top spots as well.
Interested to see what UCL will get up to, whether they'll be able to bring it back. And, you know, if you had to choose someone, John, who do you think on UCL would be the key to do that?
We've seen not a lot from Roman Sparta on that Widowmaker. I wouldn't be surprised to see that changed over to something else. I think it's difficult to pin down just because of the way they've been playing, but I think it's all gonna be on how they contest Hyde on this Reinhardt. So I'm gonna be looking at the main tank coming out for UCL to try and contest that and trying to see if they can keep that pressure up, because Hyde has been allowed to do a lot in these games so far. You just see him with his shield down, swinging his hammer at their front line, and there's no one dealing with it. You know, you need an equally strong tank, an equally bold tank, and you need the healers to back them up. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to this game.
And for me, I came into this believing Greeny Republic could be that tank. He is pretty impressive, you know, just generally playing, well, just basically any of those main tanks. Obviously does specialize a little bit towards the Winston, but I expected a little bit more from him in general. So excited to see that Hyde is performing so well here. I think moving into perhaps some of the other teams who do have a slightly more robust main tank, for example, players like Shovox come to mind, whether Hyde will perform at the same level. Because I don't know if they've played each other, but I'd be excited to see how that goes.
We'll have to wait and see. But I think there is a little bit of a break. I think Vex is having a little cool down. Of course, the temperatures in England, as I'm sure everyone here is aware, very, very hot at the moment. I'm certainly sweating a little bit at my desk. I've had to close the windows because, of course, I'm shouting, so can't annoy the neighbors too much.
I've had to do it for the opposite reason. I've got cars going all outside, so I'm also boiling.
Yeah, well, there we go. We are all boiling, and it seems like it's boiling over here because, of course, Manchester have already taken that 2-0 lead. We only have one map left to play. It's going to be Watch Point Gibraltar. And both Pix and Roman Sparta are going to be hovering that Widow, which I really do like on this first point.
And I would be excited, as I've mentioned before, to see those Widow duels because they can just take over the entire game. We won't be seeing the Reinhardt most likely. I think Hyde running this Orisa on defense is definitely the right decision with the pulled pork composition, and also Hyde just being a very competent Orisa. And when you can just drop down these shields more renewably than the Reinhardt, it feels really good.
Yeah, I mean, this seems to be the style of play that people are going for. And this is what I was talking about from Manchester. You know, they're playing this meta comp. Playing that D.Va as well, going over to the 3-2-1. That is beautiful. I love it. I love it. You know, we've seen it in the OWL. We've seen it all the way down to contenders and places like that. And it's worked wonders. It relies heavily on the skill of the Mercy player, in this case, a little Jamie. And we've seen what he can do. And maybe with very little risk in terms of their... in terms of winning this series, they're willing to try and pull it out and try and get some practice in on it.
We'll be excited to see whether this will work out. I don't think we're going to see Dr. Pie stay on this Roadhog. Maybe, yeah, I think he'll probably switch. Oh, no, they're on defense. Yeah, no, this is what's happening. Sorry. They are running that one healer, like you said.
Yeah, there we go. It's plenty of healing, especially with the presence you get from that D.Va defense matrix, from that Orisa shield. And they are going to be coming up against the dive from UCL up onto the bridge as the payload rounds the corner. You can see they are trying to zone out the Widow, but instantly grapples away as soon as he hears that Winston leap. He's going to get taken down, but Roman Sparta gets the picks on picks yet again. Finds Void Boy as well, and the DPS falls. They have to res Void Boy, but they've already lost one, and they are down a player. A very good start for UCL, as they are under the bridge now, trying to contest it out. Void Boy has to jump away as the barrier falls. Suki as well on that D.Va, getting taken down. The Hanzo try and duel out, but UCL has way more backup here. Void Boy has to be very careful going up for that, but they land the headshot onto Jurius Davros, and with Bum Bum falling, that's not a lot of healing left just from Vex. It's not going to phase them, though. They are continuing to find those kills, find those pickoffs onto Void Boy as well, who's going to fall down. Hyde still standing tall with the core of a little Jamie and Dr. Pi. 2 tanks still available. Mini Diva running around the sidelines, trying to just get those plinks, but they aren't going to be long for this world. Manchester gets seen off this first point. UCL around the corner. They're in the home stretch.
Yeah, we heard you talking about Roman Sparta not being so great and he should swap off. He does start to show up here finally, and really nice play from him to find these opening picks, which has really set UCL to go on in here. But Void Boy, as you said, is holding his ground and continues to find these kills.
The res, however, is going to come through, and Pix is going to get the better of Roman Sparta in the end. They are going to continue this hold. 2.5 minutes on the clock, but UCL have gained a lot of ground. But what they've lost now is the tempo. That pressure that they had built up is all mitigated off the back of that saved fight for Manchester. So they have to reset and find another opening. Hello?
Oh, sorry. I completely forgot to say something. I was focusing on this beautiful duel between Void Boy and Psyche. Did eventually end up with Void Boy falling all the way down, but he will start to take a fight back up to the enemy as they start to fall back, and we see the Dragon Strike coming.
It's going to come out straight onto the payload, but it's just a zoning ultimate for now, and they're zoning them all together. Everyone's on the right side of that one as Void Boy takes down Psyche. They are just going mirror matchups right now, and they're going blow for blow, and they're making it work for the Manchester, doing the work. 1.5 minutes now left on the clock. They managed to burn through the minute. Stavros takes down a little Jamie, their only source of healing, remember. So now is the time that they could find the opening. If Roman Sparta can get those picks off, they can find something, but it's not going to go their way. Manchester holds strong, and a little Jamie is going to be allowed to enter the fight.
They will have to fall back here, and actually really fantastic play from Manchester, playing really stally and punishing the side of UCL as they try to push aggressively here. UCL had such a big opportunity with Roman Sparta finding those early picks to take control of this first point, but they just squandered it. And that's why we see this fight coming in now.
Oh, straight into the fray goes Green Republic as he gets hooked in. Dr. Pine wastes no time popping that ultimate. The whole hog finds the D-Mech, and the rest of the team is there as well. 35 seconds left on the clock, and that's a lost fight for UCL. They need to regroup. They need to find an opening.
And Void Boy and Hyde doing so much damage, sending them packing. Look a little bit like they're on their last legs. UCL just can't seem to find the kills they need anymore. It's the early picks coming out from Roman Sparta have dried up, and that well is just not something you can get any water that's going to help you get on through here anymore.
Touch the payload. Someone needs to go in as the Winston waiting in the wings, but gets hooked in by Dr. Pi onto the payload, so he does get the contest off, which means overtime will tick away. But who else is left? They've got a Mercy in the skies trying to Valkyrie. Psyche in the backlines on that Hanzo, actually able to take it down, and they res Stavros. UCL, against all the odds, have actually managed to find the opening, but Dr. Pi with another whole hog, trying his best to zone people away as Roman Sparta falls to the pressure from Suki, but left alone on the point. Then Tesla Cannon cannot be blocked by that defense matrix. Bun comes in for the healing, and all of a sudden Manchester looking a little bit shaky here, waiting for a little Jamie to come back into the fight for the healing, but Stavros is doing the work in the meantime. Primal Rage is being popped off, and they are finding those kills that they need. They are moving forwards. Dr. Pi getting batted around. The contest still going through from Pix as he swapped over onto that Tracer. And little Jamie now back into the fight as Dr. Pi is getting healed up, getting pocketed. Hyde onto that Winston to just get back into the fight as fast as possible. And another ho-ho comes out from Dr. Pi. They're zoning people off the cart, and they're trying to make it work. Self-destruct sequence finally coming out for the UCL team as they get the remake as well. In comes Void Boy now onto the Genji. Vix gets taken down. It's just Greedy Republic left standing after a super extended fight. The D-Mech comes through. Psyche last standing near the point. The Mini Diva piloting, but not so much for Stavros. Let's go. Back in. They are not done. They're keeping it rolling. The Pulse Bomb is going to finally start to close out this fight. Overtime has been ticking for so long, and just the Tracer left. You have to zip around. You have to have your wits about you. Self-destruct is going to be too strong, and finally Manchester get the hold.
Manchester, man, they just held that point for so long. Stubborn play coming out from them. They did not want to give it up. They wanted to hold as long as they could, and in a situation where many teams probably would have just fallen back and gone, they've gotten this. We'll let them have it. We'll go to point 2. We've got a couple of ultimates. It's not looking bad for us at all. We can just leave this here and actually just play. But instead, they decide, we're not giving this up at all. Their dogged determination really shines through there, and fantastic play will net them a first point hold. So it's now down to them to just, get it over 82.59 meters, which is not really a tall order on Gibraltar, because it's actually really hard to hold on this first point unless you do something special.
And that was exactly what Manchester were able to bring out. I was talking about the composition they were playing, very useful in the top level of competitive play, and they made it work for them. So all credit to them. I would love to see some of these picks coming out, but I don't think we are. They are going to be swapping them over. We had the May being hovered. Pix is on the Doomfist, which wouldn't be terrible. I wouldn't be surprised to see this come out, actually.
Mm-hmm. I think Anna definitely has its place in the meta. Like, against high healing comps, against triple healer, I can see it working, but I don't think that, it's really going to achieve a massive amount against what we've seen come out so far from UCL. They could be thinking, we want some of this extra long range so we can play a more divey style, but I'd be surprised. Yeah, we do see a little Jamie swap over, and, he's been working really well on this Mercy, so I'm not hugely surprised. I'm excited, however, to see that Pix is still on this Doomfist, and if he can find those one-shots, that'll be something to see.
They're going full divey straight around the side. Huge mobility from the Doomfist, but do you know what counts as mobility? Being dead. You cannot move when you are dead. This is a well-known fact, and it's going to come to bear here as Roman Sparta again on that Widowmaker, making short work of Dr. Pi.
Some brilliant play actually coming out early from UCL to shut down those aggressive pushes. But in the end, it will be Manchester trying to push forward here.
Roman Sparta again, taking the head off of Pix's shoulders. Really turning up on this Widowmaker. After I said he was underperforming just a little bit, he's really stepped up here. Very, very prone to landing those shots. And again, he takes down the Mercy. But there's plenty of picks coming in for Manchester as well. The Mini Diva, the Pilot Diva down. And then Mercy getting zoned away as well. Bun Bun over, just no relenting for Hyde. It's going to be straight up and all over the place. The Widowmaker getting zoned away. Roman Sparta trying to do his best, but you got one angry monkey to deal with. As Jurios Davros falls down, Manchester push forwards, Vexed falls. That's going to be the map. 3-0 for Manchester.
A dominant play, dominant series, in fact, from Manchester. And, I was saying, can Hyde play the monkey? Hyde can play the monkey. He played so well on that last round and just completely shut down multiple members. His understanding of when to dive, he was right up in their face and took out 3 members of UCL. Void Boy was doing all this. You see Hyde in the background doing all of that, and he just took over that last round.
Incredibly powerful performance. You saw he was harassing the Mercy beautifully. That's exactly what you need to do with a dive comp, and they made it work. Really nice to see Manchester playing very, very well, and they won it out 3-0 pretty cleanly, and that's what I was saying from one of what could be the top teams this season.
Definitely excited to see how they're going to progress. We do have playoffs coming not too far away, so keep an eye out for that. It'll certainly be something to behold as we do finish up off for today.
Yeah, that is going to be it for us today, but I've had a lot of fun. I've been John Allen, and with me has been Rook. I've had a great time. Have you enjoyed yourself?
I have. Thank you very much for joining us today, John, and covering for Blank. You've been fantastic.
Not a problem. Not a problem. I do enjoy a good bit of Overwatch, of course. It's a very fun game and a very fun couple of games we've had today as well. But that is going to be it for us for now. Make sure you keep track of all our social media at the NUEL on Twitter and all over the various places. I'm sure you guys are clever enough to find that out. Go and make those 700 IQ plays, drop a follow, and make sure you stay tuned because we will be back next week. And there's plenty of other games as well going on. So you can get all of the up-to-date information there. But for now, we're going to call it a night. Thanks for tuning in and goodbye.
too easy to run away.